So, dynamics tayo. So, last na lesson natin sa kinematics ay yung projectile. Ngayon sa dynamics tayo, okay, we have the Newton's laws of motion, no? So, ito tungkol sa mga moving objects. And also, it's all about forces, no? So, first, since Newton's law of motion is about forces, no? So let's define first what is motion. So, or force, ano? So force, any kind of a push or a pull on an object. It's can be a push or a pull. Sa Tagalog, tulak or hila. So when we say push, that is a force applied to an object away from the body. For example, ako yung doer ng action. So I am exerting force away from me. Okay? So when we say pull naman, you're exerting force on a certain object towards you. No? Yung direction niya, papunta sa'yo. Kapag push, palayo sa'yo. Pagka pull, papunta sa'yo. Okay? So much for force. Okay, and force here is denoted as F. Ano? F yung gamit natin dyan. So ngayon yung forces natin ay hindi naman lagi yan na horizontal or vertical lang, ano? Okay, so it can be a diagonal force. So malinaw sa atin yan, force is a vector, no? It has a direction. And then from that context, okay, so we can say that force can be broken down into, for example, force F can be broken down into X and Y component, no? Okay, gaya lang din ito na sa vector natin. Okay, so yung computation halos parehas lang. Addition ng vector, no? We can solve vectors using component method. Actually, we're going to solve problems here using components method. Mas madalas components method tayo. Okay, so we have now the Newton's first law of motion. Okay, so bigyan ko lang kayo ng brief history. Actually, ang nauna na nag-argue about motion or force and motion is Galileo. No, siya yung original na marami sinasabi tungkol sa bagay niya. Then at the end, si Newton yung nagkaroon ng law, no? Nagkaroon siya ng principle about motion, which is ito nga yung laws of motion niya, no? So for the Newton's first law, although nagbinigyan naman ng credit ni Newton si Galileo, no? Bali, ito yung bottom line ng mga argumento nilang dalawa. Okay. Every object, okay, according to first law of motion, Newton's first law of motion, every object continues in its state of rest or of uniform velocity in a straight line as long as no net force acts on it. So, an object at rest, sa ibang salin na libro, babasa natin, an object at rest will remain at rest, and an object in motion will remain in uniform motion as long as no external force that will act on it. So, yung object na naka-stop or at rest, hindi siya gagalaw unless merong force na mag-act sa kanya. Okay, yung yung object na gumagalaw, no, in motion, ay hindi hihinto unless merong external force na mag-act sa kanya, no? The tendency of an object to maintain its state of rest or of uniform velocity in a straight line is called inertia. Okay, as a result, Newton's first law is often called the law of inertia. Okay, so yun ang tawag natin doon, ano? Common na kakabit na nung first law of motion, yung law of inertia. Okay, so that is the tendency of an object to maintain its state of rest or uniform velocity or motion, no? So here, in law of inertia or for objects at rest. Okay, ito lang mahalaga nating equation na pwede natin magamit. The summation of all forces is equal to 0 or the net forces is equal to 0. Okay, then if the summation of all forces is equal to 0, of course the x and y components or the sum of x and y components, okay, of that force is equal to 0. No? Kahit yung sum ng x and y component ng forces natin ay 0 din. These three are useful, no? Magagamit natin sa pagsosolve ng problem. Okay? So ngayon, paano kapag gumagalaw na? Ito ibang usapan na yan, ano? Ibang law of motion na yan. Pero dito, since law of inertia tayo, okay, dito muna tayo. Okay. So dito sa first law of motion, may mga problem na hinahanap lang naman yung resultant velocity, resultant force. For example, dalawa yung force natin. Bawa, ito yung ating object. Diba? Meron tayong dalawang force. Okay. Meron tayong dalawang force mag-act dyan in this direction. You have angle A. So this is F1 at angle A. And we have F2 at angle B. Okay. So pwede nga hanapin sa atin what will be the resultant force of the two. Okay. So we can break down by components, ano? Or we can solve that problem using component method. Pero dito, ang isa sa mahalagang paraan sa pag-solve ng problem is what we call the free body diagram. Okay, free body diagram. Okay, so we can get the summation of, so we can break down the components nga muna, and we can get the summation of or resultant of x and y components. Okay. So, for x components, okay, ito yung ating Cartesian plane. Ano lang ngayon yung ating mga forces na mayroong x component. So, kitang-kita natin. Yung F1, mayroong x component yan. So, ito, di ba? Ito yung kanyang x component. So, we have F1x going to this direction. Then, yung F2 din natin, mayroong x component, di ba? So we have F1x and F2x. If we're going to solve for the summation of all forces, so we have the summation of forces along x-axis. Okay, so we have F1x. Pansinin na. So dito, hindi ka naka-equate sa 0 dahil meron kang resultant. Tignan natin kung kailan ka magkakaroon ng summation equal to 0, no? So, another free body diagram. So, para sa y component naman. So, yung ating F1 pataas, di ba? F1y going up. Okay, so ito yung ating F1y. Tapos, yung ating F2y going down. Okay? So, ito yung ating object, di ba? Pababa yung ating F2y. So, we can write now the summation of forces along y is equal to, okay, so we have F1y. Ngayon, yung sign convention dito, ginamit natin dito sa x component. Lahat ng pakanan positive, kaya puro plus tayo. So dito, lahat ng nasa taas positive, no? Gawin natin ganun. So F1y pataas, so positive, minus F2y kasi papunta siya sa baba. Okay, so now simplifying this, makakuha ka ng summation of x and y. So to get FR, that is simply, okay, so we can arrive to this, no? Ito yung summation of f of x. Tapos, meron kang summation of f of y. Diba? So, we can have the resultant force, Fr, will be equal to summation of f of x, fx squared plus summation of fy squared. So, that will be your Fr. So, syempre, kagaya lang sa ating vectors, addition of vectors, pwede nating kumakuha yung x and y component using trigonometry lang, ano, so katawa. Halimbawa, yan yung f, no, f1. Meron ka angle. So, this is your x and y component, f1x and f1y. Using trigonometry, we can solve for the x and y component. So, ganun lang yan, ano? Then, for angle, yung resultant angle, so we have this. So, ang reference natin, positive x-axis, syempre. Diba? So, mula dyan yung sukat. Counterclockwise ang ikot. So, yung opposite is fy and fx is your adjacent side. So, we're going to get the direction or angle. So, we have inverse tangent, negative 1, summation of fy over summation of fx. So, ito subjective naman ito. Depende sa quadrant na kinilalagyan. Malay mo, nandito pala yung resultant mo. Yung mga forces mo nandyan. Yari tayo pagka ganun, ano? Okay. So, let's have another scenario. So, nakita na natin paano magsosolve, ano? We can use component method. Okay. So, halimbawa naman ngayon, meron kang object at rest. Resting on a frictionless surface. So, meron yung weight, syempre. But due to the normal force, pero tsaka na natin take yung normal force. Puro muna tayo sa horizontal axis. No? Halimbawa, nag-apply ka ng force dito. So, force 1 is equal to 20 Newton. Anyway, the unit of force is Newton. Ano? Alam na natin yan. So, kung tatanungin tayo, ano yung force na kailangan nating i-apply dito? What will be the force F2 in order to make the object stay at rest? Ibig sabihin, nag-apply tayo ng force papunta sa kanan na 20 Newton, no? Sa box natin. Okay. Ang tanong, ilang force ang dapat na i-apply dito sa direction ng F2 to make the object stay at rest? So, since yung ating movement ay horizontal axis lang, so disregard natin yung summation of forces along y-axis. Wala na yan, ano? Wala mo na yan. Okay, so we have the summation of forces along x, which is equal to 0. So, bakit na ngayon natin in-equate sa 0? So, dahil yung ating object supposed to not to move, ano? It is supposed to not to stay at rest, ano? It is supposed to stay at rest, no? Hindi siya dapat gumalaw. Kaya in-equate natin sa 0. So, we have 0. So, we have the summation of forces. So, ngayon, gawa tayo ng free body diagram. Pwedeng dito ka gumawa. Pwedeng dito ka magawa ng free body diagram mo. Pwede rin lumabas ka dyan. Okay. Gawa ka lang ng Cartesian plane. Ngayon, ano yung mga forces? Meron sa kanan. So, we have here F1. Then, we have F2 pupunta sa kaliwa. Okay. So, we have the summation of forces. Pwede natin i-recta, no? So, yung positive, F1. Dahil pumunta sa kanan, minus, okay, F2. Dahil pumunta sa kaliwa, naging negative. Pero actually, alam natin na kapag kinuha natin summation ng forces along x-axis, so, kukunin lang natin yung sum, no? F1x plus F2x plus F3x, halimbawa, hanggang sa kung ilan yung forces natin doon. Kaya lang, ang nangyayari kasi, diretso na agad nating pinalitan. Yung F2 natin pupunta sa kaliwa kasi yan. Kaya, ni-negative natin siya. So basically, the F2 here, we can solve. Bakit sir hindi naka-X? So understood na yan kasi yung ating forces ay along x-axis or horizontal axis. Therefore, understood na yan na yung forces natin na yan na rin yung iyong x component. Naniniwala ba kayo na itong forces na to, F1, along the horizontal axis ang kanyang direction is our summation of f of x? No? Yan din yun, okay? Wala siyang y component. Therefore, if we are going to solve for F2, okay, so simply transpose. So we have F2 is equal to F1. So F2 is equal to also to 20 Newton. Ibig sabihin, para hindi gumalaw yung object mo na initially in-applyan ng 20 Newton, kailangan mag-exert ka rin ng 20 Newton in the opposite direction. Okay? Eh sir, bakit hindi po nakita na naka-opposite ng direction? Kasi, ang ginawa natin, pinalitan na natin agad dito yung sign. No? Pero kung gagawin mong ganito, 0 is equal to F1 plus F2. Dahil originally, we have F1 or summation of F, di ba? F of X, which is F1 plus F2. So if you're going to solve for F2, F2 will be equal now to negative F1. So we have F2 is equal to negative 20 Newton. Okay, kasi pinalit na agad natin yung sign. Understood na sa atin na yung ating F2 is pupunta sa kaliwa. No? Pero kung hindi mo naman igaganon, ganito ka sa una, puro positive ka, ay magpalit ng sign, makukuha mo na magne-negative siya. Okay. So ngayon, nagkaroon tayo ng isa pang example. Halimbawa ngayon, meron tayong forces. Okay? So ang bottom line lang dito, hindi gagalaw yung object mo unless wala kang force. So in order for that object, even if it is subjected to a force, para hindi siya gumalaw or mag-stay siya at rest, so you need to apply a certain force in a certain direction. Okay? Depends on the applied force. Yung direction mo tsaka yung magnitude. For example, ito. So meron tayong dalawang forces. Okay? This two forces, F1, FA, gawin natin FA, no? Is equal to 30 Newton. Tapos, we have F sub B, 40 Newton. Okay, so meron tayong dalawang angle. Siyempre, sabihin natin meron tayong dalawang force na naghihilahan. Ito yung object mo ngayon. Ngayon, ang gusto nating malaman, okay, ang direction ito, gawin natin, for example, this is 30 degrees and this is 60 degrees. Okay? Ang gusto nating malaman, what will be the magnitude? Assuming na ito yung force natin halimbawa, no? Ito yung third force natin, F sub C. Okay? What should be the value of our F sub C in order to make the object stay at rest? No? Halimbawa, nag-apply ng dalawang force. Ang tanong sa atin, what will be the magnitude? Ano dapat yung lakas at yung direction ng ating F sub C? Okay. So we can break down it into components, no? So we have F sub X. Okay, F sub AX will be equal to 60 degrees. Okay. Opposite adjacent. So we have 30 Newton times cosine 60. So, kuha lang tayo ng calcu. Okay, so we have 30 cosine 60. So that is equal to 15. So we have 15 newtons here for F sub AX. Pwede ganito, kunin mo muna yung components sa lahat, ano? Disregard mo muna yung mga sign. Then, yung ating FAY So we have opposite. Okay, so we have 30 newtons sine 60. Okay, so we have now 30 times sine 60. So this is equal to 25.98. So gawin na lang natin 26 newton. Okay, so yun yung PHY. Ngayon, we have FPX. So, referring to this triangle, so we have 30 as our angle, opposite, adjacent. So we have 40 newton cosine 30. So that is equal to 40 times cosine 30. That is equal to 34.64. 34.64 newton. Okay, so that will be our F or X component ng ating force FP. So ngayon, so we have FBY. So we have 40 newton. So based pa rin sa triangle na to, di ba? Ito yung triangle na yan. So ito yung FB mo. So ito ngayon yung X component mo, di ba? FBX tapos FBY. Ito yung angle. Opposite, adjacent. Kaya kakaroon ka ng 40 cosine 30. Ngayon, 40 newton sine 30. Okay, so FBY will be equal now to 40 times sine 30. So we have 20 newton. Okay, so ayun na ngayon. So kukunin natin para makuha, kailangan lang kasi yung resultant dito ng dalawa, kukontrahin mo lang dito yan, ano? Itong force na to. So basically, yung force na kailangan mong i-apply dito, okay, dapat lang ay equal doon sa magnitude ng resultant nilang dalawa at naka-opposite ng direction. Okay, so pwedeng ganun ang approach. Kapag naman kasi ang nangyari, merong given na angle, okay, magbabago na yung sagot mo. Depende sa angle na binigay. Kung ba may certain direction yung F sub C. So, mababago na ngayon yung resultant force mo. Okay, so yung FR mo ngayon, so ito ngayon tayo, free body diagram. So, along x-axis. So, we have FVX. So, we have FAX, papunta sa, So, this is, itong papunta sa kanan, nakita FB, So, we have FBX here. Then, papunta sa kaliwa, meron tayong FAX. Yung X component ng FA, nakita natin to papunta sa kaliwa, di ba? So, ito yun. Okay, so we have now summation of forces along X is equal to, okay, so this will be equal now to FBX minus FAX. So, meron dalawang approach ng pagsasolve yan, So, pwedeng kunin muna natin, kagaya na sinabi ko, kunin muna natin yung resultant here, FR. Tapos, i-assume na lang natin na yun yung ating F sub Z. Same magnitude, opposite lang ng direction. Kasi wala tayong given na angle here. Okay, so we have now summation of F of X is equal now to what is the FBX 34.64 minus 15 newton. So that will be equal now to 19.64 newtons. Okay, so that is your summation of F of X. And we have summation of F of Y. Okay. So obviously, mapupunta sa kanan yung ating sagot. Yung X natin, Kasi positive, So F of Y, free body diagram tayo ulit. So dito ko na susulat yung free body diagram, So we have FB, okay, parehas na sa taas, ano? So we have FBY, tapos we have FAY. So the summation of forces along y-axis is equal to FAY plus FBY. So we have summation of forces along y is equal now to 26 plus 20 Newton. So we have 46 Newton. So obviously pupunta sa taas. Okay, so kay drawing natin ngayon, buburahin ko lang itong ating mga nakadrawing sa taas. Ay hindi, lipat ko na lang yung slides. Okay, so kay drawing natin ngayon, so yung ating F, summation of forces along x-axis, pupunta sa kanan kasi nag-positive siya dito. Okay, given that FBX is positive, okay, going to the right, o yung naging net natin dito, papunta sa kanan kasi positive. Then we have summation of FY. Okay, so ito ngayon yung ating magiging resultant force. No, FR. Sabihin natin F sub C, gawin na natin F sub C. Ay, hindi pala. Kasi mag-opposite tayo niyan. FR muna. FR. Okay, so FR now will be equal to square root of summation of Fx squared plus summation of Fy squared. So we have 19.64 Newton squared plus quantity 46 Newton squared. Okay, so pindutin lang natin sa calculus. So we have square root of 19.64 squared plus 46 squared. So we have 50.02 squared. 50.02 Newton. Antok na ako. Or saktuhin na natin, no? Approximately equal to 50 Newton FR. So yun yung ating resultant, no? Yun yung resultant force natin. Ngayon, alamin natin yung direction. Sa mga katuwid, ito lang din yung magnitude ng iyong F sub C. Kaya lang, ang problema dyan, yung direction. Kasi, kunin natin yung direction ng resultant. So, ito. Okay, so ito yung direction ng resultant. Okay, swerte tayo dahil summation, inverse tangent ka lang agad dyan. Inverse tangent, okay, theta is equal to inverse tangent na EFY over EFX. So we have, ba't mo merong equals to? Burahin natin yan, no? Okay, so inverse tangent ng what is Y, 46 over 19.64. Okay, so you're going to solve for the angle. Yun yung ating resultant or yung direction ng ating resultant. Shift tangent 46 over 19.64. So we have 0.04 degrees. Teka lang, may mali tayo dito. Check ko lang yung mga values. 26. Okay, tama naman. 15, 19. Teka lang, may mali dito. 34.64 minus 15. Tama naman, 19.64. Okay, 46. Opposite. Okay, ulit lang. Inverse tangent 46 over 19.64. Okay, so we have yun 66.88. Okay, so we have a 66.88 degrees. So yun yung direction, ano? So kukunin natin ngayon yung direction ng ating f sub c kasi nakuha na natin yung magnitude niya eh. So kung nasa 66 degrees siya, bawa ito yung iyong nakuwang theta, diba? So ito ngayon yung magiging direction ng ating f sub c ko. Ito yung f sub r mo, diba? So basically ito lang din yung f sub c mo, magnitude same, and yung direction opposite. So this is also equal to theta. Ano ngayon yung direction niya mula dito? Okay, so kitang-kita natin mula dito sa positive x, pwede ka maggaling sa positive x or tapos counterclockwise. Okay, or pwede naman mula sa positive x clockwise ang ikot papunta doon. Okay, so you have 90 dito sa taas, you have 180 plus theta, no? So the direction is fr or fc is equal to 50 Newton. Okay, okay, so this is 180 plus 66.88, so this is 246.88 degrees. So pwedeng ganyan, ano? Or pwede naman baliktad yung ikot. So you have 90 plus 90 minus theta, which is 66.88. So pwede ito, negative 90, tapos plus yung angle na to. This is negative, ano? So we have negative, okay, calculate na natin. So we have negative 90 minus, so this is 90 minus 66.88. So that will be equal to 113.12. So can be 50 Newton at a negative 113.12. So pwedeng ganyan, yun yung sagot, pwedeng ganyan, ano? Dalawa, pwedeng counterclockwise yung direction, pwede rin namang tawag din clockwise. Okay, so ngayon pakita ko ibang solution, ano? Tandaan natin yung direction, ano, sa nung ating sagot at yung naging ating magnitude 50 Newton, ano? Pakita natin ngayon ibang solution sa pagkuha niyan. Okay, buburahin ko lang, ha. So we have 50 Newton at okay, 246.88 degrees. So ito, save natin to. So we have now, okay, pwede nating isama sa component yung f sub cx, ano? Yung f sub c, no? Di ba tatlo force natin na magka-act? Yung f sub c yung pangatlo. Okay, pwede nating i-assume na meron siyang x component. Okay, hindi nga lang natin alam if that is positive or negative. Okay, so kaya ang gagawin natin, i-positive lang muna natin lahat. Okay, huwag muna natin babaguhin yung sign dun sa summation of forces along x and y. Okay, so ganito magiging diskarte natin ngayon. So we have the summation of forces along x is equal to 0 na ngayon. Bakit? Kasi sinama na natin yung c component or yung f sub c natin na force. So kapag sinama natin yun, ang goal natin is to make the object stay at rest. So dapat magsi-0 yung iyong summation of forces. So you have 0 is equal to f sub ax plus f sub bx plus f sub c x. Okay, so f sub cx natin ngayon is equal to negative f sub ax minus f sub bx. Okay, so kung titignan, yung ating f sub ax ay going negative side. Okay, so we have now negative times negative f sub ax or Palitan na natin ng value para mabilis tayo. We have negative F sub AX. What is so we have negative 15 Newton. Okay, minus F sub BX. So we have 34.64. So minus 34.64. Hindi na natin binago dahil positive yung ating F sub BX. So we have positive 15 minus 34.64. We have 19.64 Newton. Ibig sabihin, yung F sub CX is going to the left, no? Okay, so nasolve na natin. So we have now summation of forces along Y is equal to 0. Ngayon, ang gagawin natin, sama pa rin natin yung F sub C. So we have 0 is equal to F sub AX plus F sub BX plus F sub CX. Sorry. So we're talking about X component na. So puro Y na yan, ano? We have F sub CY, F sub AY, F sub BY, F sub CY. So transposing, we have F sub CY now is equal to negative F sub AY minus F sub BY. Okay. So nakita natin, parehas positive yung ating Y component kasi parehas pataas. So wala mababago sa sign. So ano yung mga values natin? F sub A is 26 and 20 whereas F sub B, Y, you know? F sub AY, we have negative 26 and minus 20 n. Tama ba? Hindi ba nagkapalit? Okay, tama. So we have F sub CY is equal to negative 20, negative 46 n. So kung napapansin, nabubuo na, no? 46 n. Parehas lang tayo nung nakuha natin saan? Dito. Okay. So kaya lang yung nakuha natin ito, resultant. So ito yan. Dito nakaturo. Parehas positive. No? Ito, mismong C component na or F sub C natin yung nakukuha nating force. So ipa-plot natin sa diagram. So ito ngayon yung diagram natin. Okay. Nasaan ba dyan yung negative side? Negative X and Y. So we have a negative X component here. F sub CX. Diba? Then we have negative F sub CY. So basically, itong yung F sub C. This is your F sub C. Okay, so let's get the F sub C. So we are going to get F sub CX squared. So we have negative 19.64 antok na ako squared plus negative 46 squared. Okay, so that will be equal to approximately equal to 15 Newton F sub C. So since ito lang din yung kukunin nating angle, ito lang makukuha natin sa una, di ba? So we have F sub CY. Okay, angle theta is equal to tangent, inverse tangent. Okay, F sub CY over F sub CX. So that will be equal to inverse tangent. F sub CY is 46 Newton. Pat natin 46 lang, ano? 19.64 para kay F sub CX. So basically, ang makukuha natin dyan is still, okay, ikutin natin sa calc para hindi malito. 46 over 19.64 Newton. So that is 66.88 pa rin. So we have 66.88 degrees pa rin. Alam na natin paano kukunin yung from positive X hanggang dun, no? Counterclockwise. So plus 180 lang to, di ba? Makuha natin direction. So we have 246.88 degrees. So yun yung direction ng yung F sub C. F sub C now will be equal to 50 Newton at 246.88 degrees. So, ganun na mag-solve. Nakita, dalawang paraan, pwede pwedeng kunin mo muna yung resultant. Walang problema doon. Ngayon, pag may angle, ibang usapan na yun, no? So, yun na lang muna siguro. Susunod na natin i-discuss yung second law at third law. Hanggang doon lang muna tayo. Okay, good night.